Here, CJ Math students, we have notes 8.2 part 2. I'm just going to walk you through a couple of problems. Number 7, which of the following formula, is the formula for finding a missing leg? So if you remember real quickly, when I draw a right triangle, these two sides are called legs, and only the side opposite the right triangle is called the hypotenuse, right? So if I need to find a missing leg, that means I know my hypotenuse, and when I know my hypotenuse, you should think right away, that's c squared minus a squared equals b squared. Okay. All right. Number 9, a baseball diamond is a square with a side length of 27. So if this is 27, that means this is 27. That means this is 27. It's just a square kind of tilted sideways. And the player throws the ball from second base right here all the way to home plate right here, right? How far did the player throw the ball? So look, we've got this right triangle here. Here was your right angle. This was 27. This was 27. There's your hypotenuse. You don't know it, so immediately you should think, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, yep, definitely going to use a calculator for this one, because 27 squared is going to be a pretty big number, but you're going to add 27 squared twice because both lengths were measured 27, right? That turns out to be 729 plus 729 is equal to c squared. That's 1,458 is equal to c squared. That can't be your answer, right? If this is only 27 meters, there's no way that that's 1,458 meters. So you take the square root, and the distance from second base to home plate, or the square root of 1458, is about 38.2. I got 38.18, so I rounded to 38.2 meters. Oh, sorry, it said 2 decimal places, so 1/8. My fault. Got to read the problem. 1/8 meters. Right, it says for 2 decimal places. Okay. And lastly, on 10, I'm going to take you through a couple of the questions, and then I'm going to have you kind of, through Edpuzzle, answer a couple of the other ones. So, a farmer wants to have a water pipe installed to give water to his farm, right? He's got 2 options. He can either follow the rural roads, so that's, you can go from here down to here and then all the way over to here, right? Or he can go directly from the water source right to his farm. So he's got 2 options, right? And one option looks like, it's going to be quicker, right? But that option costs him $30 per meter. Sorry, this is $45 per meter, whereas the rural roads is $30 per meter. And basically, we're going to find out which one is the cheaper option. So what's the cost of running the pipe directly from the water source? That's 1,100 meters times $45, and that will give you a cost of $49,500. Pretty expensive, right? But what's the cost of running the pipe along the farmhouse on the rural roads? So we have 200 here times $30, right? But we need to find this distance here, the rural roads. So if I drew this triangle, and I said you had 1,100 here and 200 here, and here's your right angle. Notice I have my hypotenuse. So when I have my hypotenuse, I want to use c squared minus a squared equals b squared. So 1,100 squared minus 200 squared equals b squared. Give us pretty big numbers. This is going to give us 1,210,000 minus 400,000, minus 40,000, my fault, is equal to b squared. And then subtracting those 2 numbers gives you 1,170,000 is equal to b squared, and b, if I take the square root of 1,170,000, I get, I'm taking the square root of this guy right there. I get 1,081.66, so we'll call that 1,082. All right, so about 1,082. So first of all, that was just this measurement right here, 1,082. Now I have to find the cost. Well, that's $30 times 200 plus $30 times 1,082. So if I add that up, 30 times 200 gives me $6,000. Added to 30 times 1,082 gives me $32,460. Added together gives me a grand total of $38,460. So while it takes longer for him to get the water on these rural roads to his farmhouse, it's much cheaper, and I want you to explain that right there. That's the end of part 2.